Hello, welcome back to part 4 session of capital gain chapter in the subject of income tax 2 for final year BCom students. In the last session we have learned to solve the illustrations. So now in this session, this is a very most important session. We are going to learn exemptions which is under capital gains. In the format you can see, after calculating gross capital gain or gross capital loss, the next step we need to calculate exemptions from capital gain. First, let us start by understanding what is deduction and what is exemption. Deduction is nothing but subtraction or reduction in the taxable income. The amount of deduction is first included in the gross total income and then it will be deducted while calculating net income. If I talk about exemption, which means exclusion. So the particular amount is excluded from the taxable income. This exempted income is not considered as a part of total income. So here we have an exemption which is under capital gains. So you can see for short-term capital assets, we have certain exemptions which is under section 54B, 54D, 54G as well as 54GA. In case of long-term capital asset, the sections will apply 54, 54B, 54D, 54EC, 54F, 54G as well as 54GA. How this exemption will work in capital gain? So let us understand by an example. So just take an example as if a particular capital asset is sold in the previous year, usually the particular seller or assessee will get an income. So on that income he will pay the tax. So whatever the tax amount he is going to pay, that will be an expenses for him. Other part of the money will be income for him. So while keeping that income, the certain assessees may keep that income as an idle. So that is the reason the government will give an opportunity to do the investment by using that amount. So if they are doing some investment which is new investment after selling that asset, that time that particular investment may be an exemption for that particular investment. New investment can be in the form of any assessee can purchase any particular capital asset as a newly, or they can do investment in bonds, or they can do investment in equity shares, or they can invest their money under capital gain account scheme, which is that particular scheme has started in the year 1988. By doing this kind of investment, the particular assessee will get an exemption that money can be deducted in while calculating capital gains, so that he can reduce his tax which is paid to government. In order to claim that exemption, a particular assessee need to satisfy certain conditions which is specified under the sections. So that we are going to see, and how that exemption will be calculated. Also we are going to do illustration on that sections. Now let us start with the first exemption. Here you can see the first exemption under section 54, and I have given some of the key points we are supposed to remember while solving the illustration. So this is enough. If we are remembering these points, so it is easy to calculate exemption under capital gains. Let us see the conditions which need to be satisfied by the assessee. First one, sale of assets in the previous year 2018-19, residential house property, long-term capital asset. So first one says that particular asset need to be sold in the previous year 2018-19. That should be residential house property, and also it should be long-term capital asset. So compulsorily that sale of asset in the previous year which is done in the 2018-19, definitely it should be residential house property. That particular house property should be long-term capital asset. That is the first one. So sale should be done in the name of residential house property, and that should be long-term capital asset. Second condition, purchase of new asset, new residential house property, or deposit in capital gain account scheme. So I told you that the new investment need to be done by the assessee. That investment should be, or that purchase should be new residential house property. It should be a new residential house property which is purchased by assessee, or a particular assessee can do the deposit in capital gain account scheme. So this is the account scheme which is started by the tax department in order to invest their money in this deposit scheme. So that is the reason either he can purchase it or either he can deposit in capital gain account scheme. So third condition is time limit to purchase a new asset. So there will be a time limit in order to do that investment. So what will be the time limit? Let us see. Within 1 year, 2018, within 2 years. I have also given the arrow mark, please understand it. 2018-19 is the sale year. When the particular asset sold, on that day before, within it is nothing but, suppose a particular asset sold on 1/1/2019, so which will come under the year 2018-19. If it is sold on 1/1/2019 before, so before 1/1/2019, within 1 year he can invest or he can purchase. If it is not possible, after 1/1/2019, I'm just giving an example, after 1/1/2019, within 2 years he can purchase. So before the sale or after the sale he can purchase particular residential house property. So this is the time limit. So usually this time limit will be satisfied in all the illustration, so no need to worry. Only thing you need to verify once whether it is done within the stipulated time. So next, the fourth condition, if new asset sold within 3 years, if the new particular asset whatever he has purchased newly, house property, if it is sold within the 3 years of the purchase, then earlier exemption will be chargeable to tax as a short-term capital gain in the previous year. So he can't get any exemption on that particular what he got an exemption in the previous year. That exemption will be chargeable to tax. And last one, the amount of exemption, this we are supposed to calculate while doing the illustration. So while if he satisfied first, second and third, so if he satisfied first 3 condition, then we are going to apply the fifth one, that is cost of new purchase plus cost capital gain account scheme or gross capital gain, whichever is lower amount we are going to consider as exemption. So cost of new purchase plus, here assessee can do the investment by purchasing the asset also and also by depositing in capital gain account scheme. So if he has done both, we need to add and we need to compare with gross capital gain. So this is we are going to get before the exemption. So we need to compare with that, and whichever is the least amount we are supposed to consider. Let me say in Kannada also. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ನ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಏನು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಈ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ನ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬರೋ ಇನ್ಕಮಿಂದ, ಅಂದರೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅಸೆಟ್ನ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ನ ಐಡಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ದಿರ, ಅಂದರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ದಿರ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಲೋ ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಲೋ ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಲೋ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟು ನಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಅಸೆಸ್ಸಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ನ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಇರೋದು ಬಂದು ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 54 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಆ 3 ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗಬೇಕು. 4th ಒನ್ನು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. 5ನೇದು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಂದರೆ 2018-19ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಅಸೆಟ್ಟು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನೇ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಆ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಟೇ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 2ನೇ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ಅವರು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ವ, ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನೇ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಮನಿನ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ 2 ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ನು ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆದಮೇಲೆ 3ನೇದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಂದರೆ 2018-19 ಸೇಲ್ ಆಗೋ ವರ್ಷ. ಸೊ ಆ ವರ್ಷದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದಿನ 2 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಿಫೋರು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸೇಲ್ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ 2 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ನು ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ 5ನೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ 5ನೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ತೊಗೋತೀವಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಎರಡೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೊಗೊತೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಸೆಟ್ಟು ಕಾರಣಾಂತರಗಳಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜೆನ್ಸಿಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ 3 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ 3 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ they have said if it is sold within 3 years, they need to pay the tax for the exemption what they got in the previous year. Now let me solve one illustration to understand how this exemption will work. First let me read it. Sri Raghunandana was the owner of 2 house properties, all residential at Bangalore, of which one residential house was sold on 28/2/2019 for rupees 2 lakh. So in Sri Raghunandana is an assessee. He had 2 house properties which is in the place of Bangalore. So on that 2 house properties he sold one particular house property in the year 2018-19 for rupees 2 lakh. This house was purchased by him on 1/1/1979 for rupees 15,000. So this particular house which is purchased before 1/4/2001, you can see the date, which is purchased on 1/1/1979 for rupees 15,000. He had made some additions to his house property by spending 3,000 on 23/1980. So he had done one addition in the year 23/1980. It is also before 1/4/2001. Further, he added a room to this house at a cost of rupees 1 lakh on 14/11/2015. So please students, make one change in the question. So instead of taking 14/11/2015, consider this day as 14/11/2014. So I am doing this illustration by in the date of 14/11/2014. Make a change. On 14/11/2014 also he had made one more improvement or addition which is in the amount of 1 lakh. The fair market value of this house on 1/4/2001 was rupees 15,000. They have given the market value. He purchased a new residential house at Mysore on 25/3/2019 for rupees 2 lakh. Compute capital gain for the assessment year 2019-20, and also they have given some index number. Don't get confused with the second purchase they have given in the illustration. So he purchased a new residential house at Mysuru on 25/3/2019 for 2 lakh. So remember, this is the new investment or new purchase which is made by the assessee. Let us start with the solution. So in the illustration, Sri Raghunandana is the assessee or the taxpayer. You can see the columns which I've already prepared. So computation of taxable income from capital gain of Sri Raghunandana for the assessment year 2019-20. So I made columns particulars rupees. So first we need to find out which particular asset the assessee is selling. So in the illustration you can see the particular asset which is sold by Sri Raghunandana is house property. So he had 2 house properties. On that 2 house properties he sold one residential house in the date of 28/2/2019, which is sold on that particular day. That house property on 1/1/1979. So these 2 dates we required in order to find out whether it is long-term capital asset or short-term capital asset. So residential house property will come under third category, that is unlisted shades and land and building. So I'm supposed to enter it. So I'm going to enter residential house property in bracket land and building, which will come under that category, and the purchase day is on 1/1/1979 and which is sold on 28/2/2019. So the duration for this third category is 2 years. So you can easily say it is more than 2 years. So that is the reason I'm entering it as long-term capital asset. So after finding out it is as long-term capital asset, so we're going to start with the first one that we required with gross sale consideration. So that is the sale amount we are supposed to consider in the illustration. So in the illustration they have given the sale amount of rupees 2 lakh. So that 2 lakh amount we need to consider as sale. So that 2 lakh amount I am supposed to enter in the column which is in the front of gross sale consideration, 2 lakh. After entering sale, I required with less. I need to less if it is there any realization expense. That is also called as selling expenses. In the illustration, you can see the whole problem. We don't have any expenditure which is made on or made at the time of sales. So that will be nil. And the next will be total, that is net sale consideration, which is the amount of same amount of rupees 2 lakh. After finding out this net sale consideration, we required to find out index cost of acquisition. We are supposed to use index because it is long-term capital asset. So here you can see first we need to check whether it is purchased before 1/4/2001 or after. So you can see the date which is purchased in 1/1/1979. So this will be purchased before 1/4/2001. So you need to consider the original purchaser date. So before 1/4/2001, I'm also entering that. If it is before 1/4/2001, so I need to take the amount of purchase as well as fair market value. Amount of purchase on that day is 15,000, and also I need to take fair market value as on the date of 1/4/2001. In the question you can see from fair market value of this house on 1/4/2001 was rupees 15,000. So we are supposed to compare those amount and we need to take whichever is the higher amount. So here 15,000 or 15,000, the amount is same, so we need to consider the higher, the amount will be same, 15,000. So as it is before, we are supposed to divide it by 100 and multiply with 280. So why we need to take 100? In the sense the 2001 and 2 index number is 100 and 1819 index number is 280, which will be already given in the 15,000 divided by 100 into 280, I'll get an amount of rupees 42,000. So after calculating index cost of acquisition, next we required with index cost of improvement. So what improvement which will be made by the assessor? He had made some additions to this house by spending rupees 3,000 on 23/1980. This is the improvement which is made before 1/4/2001. So 23/1980 is before 1/4/2001. That is the reason I'm ignoring that improvement. He has also made one more improvement which is for that house property. He added a provision to this house at a cost of rupees 1 lakh on 14/11/2015. So this is the improvement which is made after 1/4/2001. So that is the reason I'm considering it. So 14/11/2014. So which is the amount of 1 lakh. So we need to divide it by 240, which is the index number, and the 280 we are supposed to multiply with it. 1 lakh divided by 240 is the index number for 2014-15. If you multiply, you will get an amount of 1,16,667. You need to round it off that amount. So next I need to find out the total of gross capital gain, which is 41,333. Next we required with exemption, we are supposed to deduct it. For this we need to check in the illustration whether the assessee has made any new investment or a new purchase or any new deposit. In this illustration, the assessee, he purchased a new residential house at Mysore on 25/3/2019 for rupees 2 lakh. So this is the new investment or new purchase which is made by the assessee. Now let us check the conditions first. So if the conditions are satisfied, that is the 3 conditions are satisfied, then we can calculate the exemption portion. The first condition is sale of asset in previous year 2018-19. It should be residential house property. That residential house property should be long-term capital asset. So let us check. Here you can see in the starting itself, residential house, it is long-term capital asset. So now I can say the first condition is satisfied. The sale is residential house and which is also long-term capital asset. Now let us check with second condition. The second condition, the assessee should purchase either a residential house property or either he need to deposit in capital gain account scheme. So let us see what the assessee has purchased. So in the illustration you can see he purchased a new residential house. So the second condition is also satisfied. Now let us check with the third condition. Time limit to purchase a new asset. It should be within 1 year before sale or within 2 years after sale. So here let us see what is the date which he purchased. The assessee has purchased residential house at Mysore on 25/3/2019. So he has purchased, you can see the sale date here 28/2/2019. So within almost 2 years only he has purchased the asset. The third condition is also satisfied. Now he is eligible to claim the exemption. Now let us see what is the calculation. Amount of exemption we are supposed to calculate cost of new purchase plus if he has done capital gain account scheme deposit, that will be need to compare with gross capital gain, whichever is the least amount we are supposed to consider. In the illustration, that particular new purchase house property is not sold within 3 years. They have not given any information for that. One more information I want to give, that if the house property has purchased, we can see the time limit within 1 year of the sale or after the sale within 2 years. If it is constructed, if the house property is constructed, then the time limit will exceed. So after the sale within 3 years they need to construct that particular house property. So this also you are supposed to remember. Here I have calculated it under section 54. I need to mention, so 2 lakh is the property which he purchased, or the amount of gross capital gain, you can see the total 41,333 that we are supposed to compare. So whichever will be the lowest amount within these two we are supposed to consider for exemption. So the lowest amount is 41,333. So that we are supposed to minus. The net capital gain will be nil. So the same amount we have. So if we deduct that as exemption, we are going to get the nil. I hope you guys have understood this exemption which is under section 54. Let me solve some more exemptions in the coming session. So I'll give one more illustration, try to solve it. If you're having any doubts, please mention in the comment section and I'll try to clarify it. And thank you for watching.